Hello, good evening. It is the instant match reaction. West Ham United 0, Everton 0. The most nillest nil I've ever seen in my life, I think. It was destined to be 0-0, wasn't it? Neither manager wanted to lose. Certainly the home manager probably thought that a loss with 100% lead to him being sacked. And even though West Ham have been quite good at home, they were really negative, I thought, in their approach. Although, on the flip side of that, they have made Jordan Pickford make one magnificent save and a couple of really good saves. Although we made them make one save, Fabianski from Lindstrom's header, I would say. I think that's the only real save we made them make. Listen, we won the possession. We didn't win the XG. The XG was 1 for them. So Jordan Pickford has literally denied them scoring a goal. Our XG was 0.97. Although we didn't have any big chances. Although we did have more shots. No, listen, it was a dreadful game. Neither team wanted to lose, as I said. That was very obvious. I thought we started well. I thought we started with a little bit of intensity. The kind of intensity that wasn't there last week, and if it had been there last week, would have probably seen us, well, not would have, would 100% would have seen us create more, because we created nothing last week in the first half. And I liked the intensity. We were on the front foot from the start, but as the game went on and as the game opened up a little bit, they started to make a little bit of headway. Obviously, our biggest issue today, in many ways, is that we didn't have McNeil for the set pieces. The set pieces were dreadful, to be fair. Lindstrom, everything's a bit floaty. Whereas McNeil, that, like, whatever you think of McNeil, that, like, can hit a ball hard in the right place. And then obviously that led us to playing the Corey in the number 10 role, which very early on in the game you could see. I mean, there was one, I think it might have been an offside. Dominic Calvert-Lewin flicked it on and he ran, and he must have had 2 yards on the lad. And if he was offside, he probably did have 2 yards on the lad, and somehow the lad still recovered. The Corey had obviously Everton's best chance, probably one of our best moves. Ball down, we were down the left, and then he cut it in for him, and the Corey has to just get a finish, and the lad slides in because he takes so much time because he wants to get a touch. And that was probably our best move of the game, I'd say. There was moments today where NJ moved into that number 10 role, and you could see the difference. You could really see the difference of him playing in that role, the beating players, taking players out the game. That has to be considered. And if that means moving McNeil back to the left because of his set pieces, then so be it. I think we'd get a hell of a lot more of Njai playing in the number 10 role, and I think we saw that today. I thought we saw that because I did think it was intentional, him coming in a lot. I think Michalenko was sort of playing a little bit higher, and that allowed him to come inside and play more in a number 10 role at times, and then drop back out. I thought Njai had a decent game today. I thought Branthwaite coming back on the side just give us that little bit of... We were so comfortable at the back, I thought, most of the game. Listen, he's a little bit rusty. You can see that. Not all of his passes worked, granted. But we look a lot more balanced with him in the side. And then the fact that I'll never understand why we play Michael Keane. If it is purely fitness, then all right, fair enough. I sort of get it. You're covering your own arse. It's a long season. You don't want Branthwaite to have another breakdown. I get that. But this idea, and some fans floated it as well, of like Michael Keane has to fuck off. Do me a favour. You must have had the Men in Black. You must have had the Men in Black thing, because people suddenly forget you forget. Yeah, without saying anything. I think once we hit like the 70th minute or maybe the 65th minute, that's when the game needed changing. But the manager is incapable of changing, and that's his biggest flaw as a manager. I think. I think he can set a team up. I think he knows what he wants. I think he knows most of the time he'll get. If he sets up for a result, he'll probably get it. And today he was definitely set up for a point. But I think when the hour comes and you're starting to make subs, they brought on 3 players. And again, you could see the difference. He won't make changes, even if he's got players on the bench. And I know he's not got loads of options. But his only move is swapping the strikers, really. That's his only move. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Beto had exactly the same issues as Dominic Calvert-Lewin had today, which is we do not play to the centre forward. We have no way of getting the ball to the centre forward in the right areas. And the problem is with Beto doesn't give you the shape. So it adds to that being on the back foot. So it almost intensifies. Don't get me wrong, I'm not having a go at Beto, but I've said this before, and I said this last year when people were clamouring for Beto to be in the side, is that it's not a Beto problem. It's not a Dominic Calvert-Lewin problem. It's a setup problem. It's the manager. The manager should be playing 4-4-2 at that stage of the game if he wants to win it. If he doesn't want to win it, like today, he wants to draw like he did last week. The problem is last week they scored and then panic stations. There's panic stations and you send Michael Keane up front. He brought Jack Harrison on with 5 minutes to go. Do me a favour, mate. Come on, 5. What are you going to do in 5 minutes? Decore was out on his arse after about an hour. And bring him on earlier. Chancey. Harrison's not a terrible footballer. Put Harrison on the left and put Njai in the number 10 role. Njai works as hard as anybody in this team. But that's where the manager is poor for me because he's got no variation. He doesn't know what to do. Other managers, younger managers with less experience have got imagination. They've got imagination. They see what they want to do. They have a bigger picture of what they want to do. Our manager doesn't. Our manager just has a tried and tested way of doing things. Sticking Beto up front on his own doesn't solve any issues whatsoever. It really doesn't solve any issues. You've got the same problem. How do you get the ball to the centre forward? And the problem, like I said before, the problem is the ball bounces off Beto most of the time because we don't play ahead of him. Beto, I think everyone's seen for Beto that you've got to play it in front of him. There was one today, and it was in our own half actually, where he got it on the tin and he got away from the. We don't play balls like that. We play it right into his feet, and he's got nowhere to go but backwards. And a lot of the times he loses the ball. We don't play, and I know there's loads of people who don't like Dominic Calvert, and I'm not making it about a Dominic Calvert-Lewin Beto thing. It's the style of play does not get anything out of the centre forwards because it's all just defensive nonsense. Simple as that. If you really wanted to go for it today, you would have brought Beto on with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you would have took the Corey off and just said, right, Dom, sit in a little bit. Obviously, you're not a midfield, but try and get it in. Try and get hold of it and turn. And when Dom turns, he's got Beto in front of him. Then why aren't we thinking like that? Why aren't we thinking out the box like that? Or you say, right, if you want to, Beto, go front and get Njai in the number 10. Bring Harrison on the left and say, right, we're going to play Njai off Beto and do it like that. There's no variation. It's like the last 30 minutes, you're clinging on to save a point. Because this manager knows, what's that? That's 10 points. That's 10 points. So it's below what his threshold of 1.3. But it's 10 points. And he'll be looking at it going, right, if we can get another 10 points before the new year, which, I mean, that would be outstanding. I'll be honest, we're looking at the fixtures, that would be outstanding if we got another 10 points before the new year. That'd be absolutely outstanding. But that's his mindset, and it's never going to change. It's never going to change. And as I said, I sat here last week and I said, I'm done with him. And I'm done with him. Even if we'd won today, I'm done with this manager. He is negative. He doesn't want to try different things. I mean, Ashley Young is literally standing there with, like, he's got a whack. And you know for a fact he would have been, there's not any time he's thinking, I'll put Patterson on here. We can get up the right. No, because Patterson's not defensive and he could cost you a point. Or in his mind, he's thinking he'll cost you a point. Even though we were really, really comfortable. It was such a comfortable game. The place was ready to turn today. You heard the boos at the end. It was so quiet. It's not a football ground. Nothing against West Ham fans, by the way. Some good lads. But it's not a football ground. It's so quiet. It's built for athletics and baseball. It's ridiculously quiet. And imagine if we could have got a little bit of pressure or scored, the whole ground would have turned. The whole ground would have turned on them. And we didn't. We didn't. But that's, listen, he's got a point out of West Ham and Southampton. And, you know, we got Brentford to come. I think they won today, didn't they? I think they got the 3-2 win in the end, I think. Yeah, they did. We've got them to come. Our next two home games, actually, you know, we've played Brentford and Wolves who've won today, who seem to have maybe turned the corner. Obviously beating an objects Southampton that can't really beat teams, apart from us, of course. There's no ambition in the team, is there? There's no ambition from the manager to go for these games. He'll be happy with the point. Of course he will. Their manager's happy with the point. They know their jobs are safe for another 2 weeks. And there's no way there's games coming up left, right and centre after that, isn't there? You know, once we hit December, obviously Manchester United's the first game. Once we hit December, there's a game practically every. I think there's only 1 week. There's only 1 week in the whole of the month where you get a clear week. It's weekend to weekend. I think that's between the derby and the game after that. I think there's only, so you're not going to be looking to make that change, and it's something you might reassess after December and with the window coming up. But listen, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we get Brozier back or Schmidt. I don't know if Schmidt will be back because I don't know. That injury just sounds bad actually. Will Garner be back again? Don't know, but we do need options off the bench because the manager's so stubborn. I know. Listen, you look at the bench and you go, he had a couple of young kids. I mean, he had a young kid. I had to look up what his position was. So we got a couple of goalies, Michael Keane, Patterson, and really all he's got is Harrison and Beto. And Harrison should have been on at least 10 minutes earlier, just because players looked knackered. So hopefully after the break we'll have Brozier maybe somewhere closer, McNeil back. I don't know where Garner. I really don't know how far away Garner is, but it doesn't sound like it's close. But if we've got a couple back, that's a couple more options. But I still don't know if the manager will play them. Bring them off the bench. And again, that's our like, you know, not our Achilles heel. That's their. I mean, I'm just going to look at the subs. They made 3 subs on 67 and then 1 on 83. We made 1 on 75 and then 1 on 86. And as I said, 2 goalies, 2 centre-backs, 1 right-back, 1 winger and 1 centre-forward, plus 2 young lads, Harrison Armstrong and Callum Bates, who doesn't even have a picture on the app I'm using. Yeah. Listen, it's... In terms of the Premier League, what are we now? We're on 10 points, 4 above Wolves, who are third from bottom, 3 above Palace, same points as Leicester, 2 points behind West Ham, 2 points behind United, and then it's 5 points. Then there's a bit of a gap, 5 points Newcastle, Bournemouth, 6 points Brentford. So it's still early, isn't it? But the run of fixtures we've got coming up. Tim Burnham, no idea how far he is away. Again, it's a break or a hairline fracture, so no idea how far away he is. And I do think he's an option for that. Not for those 2 holding roles. I think that's Garner and Mangala personally, or James Garner. I think Tim Burnham, and I was saying this before he got injured, to me he's more a player you bring on in that number 10 role in a game like this today. In a game like this, that's where I'd take the Corey off and bring a Tim Burnham on. Someone you don't put him in to, I just don't see him in that role. I think he's far too young and he's far too inexperienced to play that role. But the subs are mad. The subs are 87 minutes. The Corey, 87 minutes. Someone who was injured last week and in the first 5 minutes of this game looked like he was running through treacle. Listen, it's... We're gonna have to listen. We got a little break now, and then, yeah. Once we get back, the Brentford game's massive. We get 3 points if we could get 3 points in the Brentford game, then obviously things will look a lot better going into December. Manchester United game, I wouldn't even be that worried about it. It's just that it's Almiron's first game at Old Trafford, so there's going to be reaction, and he's going to have a couple of weeks with the team. Darren Sean, thank you for becoming a member. Yeah. So we'll see. But I just wonder how many points we're gonna have. I really do. By the end of December, I just wonder how many points we're gonna have. It's gonna be very interesting. And don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of times where we've had runs like this where we've completely surprised ourselves. And have picked up points. The only worry is that you go back last year, and we are at the stage last year where we just beaten Crystal Palace. And then literally then we got the 10 points taken off us. Or we're coming up to that anyway. Sort of same time of the year. And yeah, we were all positive, and then we had the 10 points taken off us, and then we won then we lost to United, and then we won the next 4 games, didn't we? And everything seemed a little bit rosy. So we haven't had the 10 points. We're not going to get the 10 points taken off us, but it feels like we've already had sort of 10 points taken off us by the games we've give up. So anyway, there you go. Yeah, okay. Super chat from Mads says, decent result, awful game overall from both teams. Brantford was lucky with some of the mistakes, but Pickford was massive in the net. I don't think Brantford was lucky with mistakes. I don't think he made mistakes. I just think he's again hasn't. This is his second game all season, so he didn't make any mistakes really. He just tries to play football, and maybe other people don't see that. So, there you go. I was just checking then, and I just wanted to... Loads of people have jumped over to... Don't know if you've noticed this. Loads of people have jumped over to the Blue Sky social media site. And I've just noticed there, you can actually be on that site, and my videos, you can watch them in there, like live. And that's boss. So if you're watching on Blue Sky, because I've noticed loads of... I don't know why loads of people... I don't know what earth-changing thing happened this week to push loads of people from X to Blue Sky, but Toffee TV are on Blue Sky, so and you can watch these videos live through the app as well. Because I know with other sites, it kicks you off the site and makes you go onto YouTube, whereas loads of people just want to be on there, so it's on there. So if you're going over to Blue Sky or you're on Blue Sky, Toffee TV is on there. I'm on there as well. It just seems like a nicer place to be at the moment. Anyway, if you're over there, make sure you give us a follow and stuff. Yeah, there you go. Crap game. Got a point. Things will change, hopefully. Hopefully we'll buy, I don't know if we will or not, but hopefully we'll buy some players in January if it's all done. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the Freakins will be in early December, and we can start hoping that things are going to change. Yeah. Yes, this is on YouTube, of course it is, but what I'm saying is you can watch it through on that app. Like, literally sit there and just watch it through the browser on there if you want to, which is good. Better than that other one. Yeah, there you go. Make sure you check out Baz's videos. Make sure you check out my player ratings as well. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. You can sort of enjoy the rest of your weekend. You can certainly enjoy next weekend because Everton won't be playing. There you go. See you later.